Warning, this episode may contain minor spoilers for the show Master of None. I will try my best not to spoil anything too important, but some things that I want to discuss may give away key story elements. I recommend watching the show beforehand, so please proceed with caution. Season 2 of Aziz Ansari's brilliant Netflix series Master of None had numerous moments that filled me with a variety of emotions. Frequently, that emotion was laughter, usually brought about by the joyful chemistry of Dev and Arnold, once again brought to life by Ansari and the lovable Eric Wareheim, respectively. When I wasn't cackling, the show smartly interwove ideas that made the audience feel uncertain and exposed the gray areas of society. In the flashback scene where Denise announces her sexual orientation to her mother, it would have been easy to write off her mother as a homophobe with how uncomfortable it made her feel. But the revelation of her mother's concern for the well-being of Denise over that thinly veiled uncomfortableness made a genuine, authentic feeling that made it difficult to immediately jump to disliking her because you understood that she was just confused and unaware of what to do in that situation. While all the indifferences the show explores are spectacular, the one I want to explore is something that achieves success by blending technical brilliance with storytelling that is both fantastic and sympathetic. In fact, it's a scene that I promptly revisited as soon as the season finished. It occurs at the end of Season 2's 5th episode, The Dinner Party. Dev has just finished spending a dinner party with Francesca, a friend visiting from Italy who he's become smitten with, and they take a lift together to their respective homes. They have charming conversation that's both funny and revealing, with an obvious tension building as it had been all night. But when the big moment comes, the culmination of the night, we get a hug. A simple, friendly hug. Though a hug is nothing to hate on, it's also not anything to write home about either, and it definitely wasn't what Dev wanted to happen. But what makes the scene especially poignant is the build-up. Not only between Dev and Francesca, but also with Dev's unsuccessful date earlier in the episode with Priya, a girl Dev had met through a dating app, which is also built up from a more fruitful date with her in a prior episode. Combine that with an entire episode that plays out like a montage of hopeless dates with every other unfortunate romantic endeavor Dev has had to deal with, and you know we're watching him at his loneliest, lowest point. It's a point we're forced to accompany him on because the scene is a 5-minute long take. From the jokes to the conversation to her leaving with a hug and the following long, quiet, contemplative ride home alone, we're there. Long takes are famous in cinema for their ability to reveal a lot of information, as well as display the actors in film's abilities to work under pressure. Whether that's Paul Thomas Anderson's weaving introduction to the colorful cast in the opening of Boogie Nights, or the destructive explosions of Alfonso Cuarón's films Gravity and Children of Men, the long take shows off the characters and their settings, both of which are essential to story development. This long take is different though. There's no sweeping movement or character introduction or setting exploration. We spend its entirety stationary, most of its duration focused on the half-empty backseat of a car, dissecting Dev's emotions by subtle facial expressions and gestures. It's dialogueless, yet it says a lot, transitioning between sadness, regret, frustration, and hopelessness. Ansari's minimal performance is one of the best of the year so far. But now is where I have to make a bit of a confession. The episode 5 ending is not a true long take. There's one singular insert, a cut to Dev's phone for a text message. It's from Francesca and it reads, "Thanks for a lovely evening. I'm jealous of the lucky pillow that gets to hold your beautiful face tonight," punctuated with a kissing emoji. This cut is important for 2 reasons. One, it's clearly a romantic and sweet message. But more importantly, it recalls a conversation they'd had earlier at a museum. The message is the same that Dev told Francesca he'd sent to Priya that got him a second date with her. She wrote it off as something that would be dumb and unsuccessful in the moment. But her reuse of it later shows her sense of humor and maybe the expectation that would help expose her feelings for something more with him as well. Now, what takes the courtship into complicated territory is that Francesca is already in a relationship and engaged to be married. The fact that Dev knows this and continues his pursuit, or at least has these thoughts of wanting something with her, drifts him into anti-hero territory. Our support for him is still mostly present because we know his well-intentions and have witnessed his numerous failures when it comes to love. So we want him to succeed. We know he's not a bad guy, yet his choices muddle the audience's perception of him and add to his humanity and his ability to be relatable as an imperfect person. This is just one of many spectacular imperfect moments built upon character development and complicated situations. Season 2 contains many others, from Arnold's yearn for a past relationship in the second episode, to Bobby Cannavale's Chef Jeff and his fluctuating friendship with Dev throughout the season, and the numerous intersecting lives of strangers in the sixth episode. It's all blunt, difficult, and painful, exposing the underrepresented side of broken humanity through genius black humor, with a cast full of underrepresented ethnic groups. It's a superb show that portrays modern life and love better than almost any other on television today.